So I haven't been in Uruguay or Paraguay yet. I plan on going to Paraguay actually next year, in 2025. So be on the lookout of that. But for sure, I'll be going there to be the boots on the ground for you guys. But I think there's a lot of Americans, a lot of Canadians going to Paraguay, Asuncion. They got some good like visa, their visa situation on how you can get like citizenship over there. I heard is really, really effective, really efficient. I would say. Somebody says, why isn't Chile a popular destination for digital nomads? That's a good question, man. I was in Santiago in 2022 for 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. And I just left, man, because after a while, it was I don't know where they told me to go. Somebody told me like on Google or wherever. People were saying, go to this place, go to this area. It's like an area where there's like a lot of different restaurants. So I go there. I think it's called Las Condes. I go to three different restaurants. First day I went to the restaurant was an American restaurant. I give them the benefit of the doubt. The food was bad. Burgers was not good. Fries undercooked. And I'm not. You just know, like you're in Mexico, you're in Colombia, you're in Argentina. You go to these different restaurants, high end restaurants. You expect this type of quality, right? So I go to three different restaurants, each of them mediocre, expensive, and you're like, what did I just pay for? So that was my first week um in Santiago until I found like some Venezuelan lady who was cooking me some food for the rest of the time I was there, eating good, some like rice, beans, and stuff like that. So um, the city is it's a big city, right? It's something compared to like a Bogota as far as the vibe. Um, they One thing I will say about Chile, they do have a good metro system. If you take the metro, obviously you're gonna be probably I'm not gonna say obviously, I don't know. Most of the time you guys use Uber, but when I did use the Buenos Aires metro system compared to the one in Chile, because I like to kind of get the vibe of the city. Um, Chile's metro system or Santiago's metro system was a lot better than Buenos Aires. But coming from Buenos Aires or coming from Argentina, coming from this country that's supposed to be like economically struggling and just like it should be like some type of hellhole where, for example, stuff is not good compared to Buenos Aires to Santiago. Buenos Aires and Argentina is a lot more friendlier, a lot more energetic as a city compared to Santiago. um, I found Santiago to be really overwhelming city as far as the different neighborhoods. I really couldn't find a good neighborhood to live in because it's a big city, but it was just I just couldn't find it. It was like Sky Center or Costa Center, I don't remember. And the air quality is like really bad. Food scene, like I said, is lackluster compared to Latin American cities. Mexico City, you get better food. Bogota, you get better food. Buenos Aires, you get better food. Lima, Peru, you get better food. Santo Domingo, you probably could get better food than in Chile, right? And like I said, the cost of living is really high. I think it's the most expensive city, and they make the most money in Latin America, I think, per capita. Um, but one thing I will say, I do love Chileans, and don't beat me here. Chileans are really critical on their country. I know a lot of countries in Latin America are critical on their country, but I think Chileans are a little bit more. They wear it on their face. Um, Politics, rising immigration with the Haitians, the Venezuelans, the Colombians coming in. I think when they want to mesh in together, like as far as like the Chileans and the different cultures, I found it that they couldn't really mesh together as far as um, the city. I don't know, and I don't know. They Chileans are a little bit more like Americans in a way, so that's why it kind of turned me off. So I think that is a main reason why a lot of people don't go there. And when you could try to compare, like I said, Chile to Argentina, um, Argentina is a lot more digital nomad friendly. It's more affordable. It's fun. It's lively social scene. Um, and Argentina, like, is more, I would say, liberal. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, they're more free. They're more open as opposed to like Chileans, where they're a little bit more restrained and conservative. So I found it a lot better to live and be a digital nomad in Argentina. And then when you have all these different cities, Like you have Medellin, you have Mexico City, you have Buenos Aires, you have Lima, Peru, you have Asuncion, which I've never been. I'm going to go there. I heard a lot of good things about it. Um, you have these different cities, Guadalajara, Panama City. I don't know. You have a lot more options as opposed to choosing Chile. Right? In Chile, also when it comes to traveling, logistically, man, I think it's a nightmare because how long Chile is. If you want to go between cities, I think you have to take expensive flights. You'd have to take long bus rides if you need to. So I think it's not convenient for like your weekend trip. Like if I'm in Colombia, Colombia is like heaven for this, or Mexico. When you're in Colombia, you could be in Medellin, one week Pereira, Manizales, Cartagena, Santa Marta. Like it's so easy. Cali. Like I have a buddy, he goes to Cali like every other weekend from Bogota. Right. So it's like logistically, Colombia is better as opposed to Chile, where you can't really like where you gonna go, Vina del Mar every weekend. Yeah, so you'll probably need a car to go around and go to different cities in Chile. I mean, Santiago, Vina del Mar, Valparaiso, and they're so close. It's like those are the three cities that you maybe you can go to Antofagasta, but what are you gonna do in Antofagasta? So there's really just three cities that you can go to when you're in Chile, as opposed to in Argentina. You have Buenos Aires, you have Rosario, you have Cordoba, you have Mendoza, which I wouldn't live in Mendoza as a digital nomad, but it's still better than the different options that you have in Chile. Um, and yeah, the Acatama, you have the Patagonia, but they're far, they're quite far, to get to. So it's like I think people just don't go to Chile because there's, like I said, there's way better options. Um, the food, like I said, is not as good. And I think I might have told you guys this. I stayed in Rio, or I stayed in Brazil longer than expected. Not because I liked Brazil for the women or whatever the hell. I stayed longer because of the food, right? So if the food is expensive and it's just like it's not good, why am I gonna stay in a place like that, right? And I love Chileans, chill. I love you guys. Don't attack me. Um, so yeah, so I think those are my final thoughts on Chile. I think like there's better options. Hopefully they can improve and it could be a little bit more friendly for digital nomads. But like I said, Valparaiso could be a good spot. Vina del Mar could be a good spot because it's more like a laid back vibe. And Valdivia is also a quick gem that I'll give you guys. But I mean, you're not going to Chile just to be ducked off in Valdivia. You know what I'm saying? Valdivia or whatever it's called. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Um, and like I said, the herd effect too. Since people are not going there, there's not a big community of digital nomads in Chile and Santiago. Like another thing too, like I'm not a big. I used to love Medellin. I still love Medellin, but it's like it's taking a turn for the worse, I'd say. But one thing I will say I love about Medellin is the digital nomad community. Like you're gonna be in Medellin, it's like you're gonna meet crypto dudes. You're gonna meet guys who are in sales. You're gonna meet guys who own drop shipping. Raking in millions of dollars a month or whatever, a year, whatever. You're gonna meet those type of guys in Medellin, Chiang Mai, and Bali. You're not gonna see those type of guys staying in Santiago. So um, I think it's like I said, it's like more of a herd effect. That's why people are not going there. I went there, I tried it out. I probably won't go back until I can see something. You know, somebody tells me something happened, like there's flying. I don't know, whatever, flying cars. I don't, but yeah, I'll probably go back. Probably yeah, sometime. Probably I'll go back to Acatama or go check out the Patagonia. They got beautiful nature in Chile though, beautiful nature. So that's something to check out. But to be a digital nomad, which is what I'm talking about, you can visit Chile. It's a beautiful country to visit. But for digital nomads, you have better options.